China threatens Sweden over support for jailed book publisher Vertical Bar. Beijing is furious after Sweden's culture minister ignored warnings not to attend a ceremony honoring Chinese-born Gui Minhai, who is detained in the communist country. But Sweden says it won't be pushed around. Don't interfere with our country's internal affairs, says China, as it interferes with other countries' internal affairs. Well, it's just like China saying Sino-British agreement is historical document. That's the agreement that handed over HK with 50 years autonomy period, but it keeps shaking some shitty, 1000 years old maps, and claiming it gives them rights to territory. Which if they are going to follow historical maps they should give China up to Mongolia, shouldn't they? See, the problem is you're using too much logic and consistency. Logic, consistency, and politics, oh boy, they don't mix well. I love the smell of politics in the morning. Smells like fuckery. Smells like piss. Smells like a smelly smell that smells smelly. Look, money. Wait. China kidnapped a Swedish citizen while on vacation in Thailand. Kept his location unknown for 3 months. And now they are upset because Sweden presented an award to him? Are you fucking serious right now, bro? China doesn't recognize dual citizenship, so from their point of view Gui Minhai can only be Chinese and nothing else, despite leaving China for Sweden in 1988, and therefore it was their right to kidnap him in Thailand 2015. What did this guy to piss off the CCP? Traffic violation according to China, but he runs /man a bookstore called Causeway Bay Books, which has released several books that are critical of the CCP and people in its government. Basically books that would be banned in China. Several of the store employees has also disappeared in a similar fashion. Also Gui Minhai has always been firm supporter of democracy. Traffic violation according to China. Lol, that excuse is almost worse than the truth. No guys, you've got it all wrong. We aren't kidnapping people for being critical of the regime, we are kidnapping them for speeding. Is being the country that kidnaps people for misdemeanors really the better look? Listen, we had to torture him. He was jaywalking. Probably. Yeah, go on threatening, Zinny the Pooh. Fuck China. Yes. Fuck China. Yeah. Right in their knockhole. May I also hop on the fuck China bandwagon? You guys seem pretty cool. Yeah, fuck me daddy. Wait. No. A horror story in 6 words. Giving an award to such a criminal is an outright political farce. It also constitutes a gross interference in China's judicial sovereignty, read the ambassador's statement. What a laughable thing to say. Even North Korea could maintain better composure here. Yeah, China and North Korea are on par with the stupidity of their diplomacy. Yet we somehow tolerate this garbage from China because manufacturing, money. When will it end? We thank Hong Kong for exposing China's true colors to the world before it's too late. It ends when you demand your local politicians, corporations, and media to declare their stand. Demand Apple, Microsoft, Google and Hollywood, Reddit, all the giants to declare their stand. Will they follow the path of the corporations like IBM and Ford Motors, who assisted Nazi Germany financially and even gave them their political support, being forced to backtrack when war broke out? Let's never forget Henry Ford and Thomas Watson supported Nazism. Even Hollywood wanted to court the German market and censored themselves accordingly. Or will they take and stand, decide, enough is enough? Break off all economic relations with the PRC. Demand Apple, Microsoft, Google and Hollywood, Reddit, all the giants to declare their stand. Problem is, we know their stand. Their stand is maintain profit and flow at whatever cost. But they demand that, because the market demands it. 2 things need to happen. The Western governments of the world need to come together and economically divorce themselves of China. The market, you, me, that guy over there, need to boycott companies that rely on China heavily, and even go so far as pulling out stock investments in companies that use and work with China. China is literally committing genocide. They have no place to be criticizing other countries for anything. Giving this criminal an award is a disgusting crime. You should be ashamed of yourselves for doing something so heinous. Hey China, what's up with that big pile of bodies behind you? Pile of what? I don't see anything. Stop threatening us. I don't have a pile of dead bodies. You have a pile of dead bodies. Don't worry about the pile of dead bodies, let me worry about blank. I'm with Sweden, fuck the Chinese government. They are so overly sensitive, and at the same time, try to offend everyone else. Fuck the Chinese government who runs concentration camps, where people are starved to death, and tortured through methods like flaying. Yes, goddamn flaying. They harvest organs of our children, after killing the child's parents, then they lie, and report that the organs they are selling are from donors. In reality they are from children, and other prisoners. Fuck off Chinese government, you fail the Chinese people. Up until now they were pretty much given free rein to do whatever they pleased internationally, so what we are seeing here is their inability to understand that they do not have absolute power over other governments. Basically, a bratty teenager. Teenager? Seems more like a spoiled toddler throwing tantrums. Don't be ridiculous. My 3-year-old acts better than this. Fuck Zinny the Pooh. Also, Sweden has bigger balls than Trump, and hands. So big that they once made the horrible mistake of invading Russia in the winter. The only plan worse than invading Russia in the winter is invading Finland in the winter. Which, coincidentally, Russia attempted. It never ceases to amaze me how few leaders understand the concept of winter in countries that are far north. Especially when they are from the far north themselves. To be fair, Charles XII was young, dumb, brave, and just got done winning a lot. Arrogance is a hell of a drug. And the first one to learn that mistake, if I'm remembering correctly. Also a mistake left his supply lines too far back which wasn't planned. Also a mistake left his supply lines too far back which wasn't planned. Charles made one big mistake, he assumed. He was advised to wait for reinforcement and supplies, but he assumed they'd be able to catch up. He also had gained the support of the Cossacks from modern-day Ukraine, and assumed they had a lot of men. They didn't. Ultimately Charles failed to invade Russia due to his naivety more so than the weather. The weather merely compounded the mistakes he made. Seems like they're always furious about something. China loves the concept of face. Public image. So I'm all for anything that makes them look bad. Boy, if we could just get our actual governments to start officially talking about the concentration camps and Hong Kong. China would lose their shit. They make themselves look bad on the daily. If it's not organ harvesting, or disappearing protesters, or whining about this, that, and the other, it's fleets of fishing vessels with coming to steal your fish. This would make me very happy. Shaming China is second best only to my chicken. Why are you shaming your chicken? No. Chicken is excellent. Shaming China is more excellenter. China needs to be made into a pariah state for what it's doing to people. Yeah, well that's not happening. Did it ever happen through history? There's always gotta be a first, although I agree it's gonna take a lot more than this to push countries to isolate China. Maybe in the future, if they start acting blatantly expansionist towards neighboring countries. Just because there's no precedent doesn't mean it can't happen, I suppose. Hell, there's plenty of precedent for what shouldn't happen, and people ignore that too. It could, but it probably won't, mostly because money. Fuck yeah, Sweden. If I didn't love Canada so much, Sweden would definitely be on my radar to move to. It's not easy to move to Sweden, so you should stick to Canada regardless. If you're tech, it's fairly similar. Salaries probably better in Canada, though. Tech salaries suck in Canada. About China. A friend of mine worked for the International Affairs Office of a relatively unknown state in my country. And we are in South America. This office's only business is dealing with meat trade, and with some obscure international community that lives there. So, this office one day decided to make a small Taiwan-themed festival, and distributed invitations with the wording "the country of Taiwan." The Chinese embassy got fucking in touch saying rewrite it. Or else. I wish I was joking. This extremely unimportant incident almost caused a full-scale diplomatic problem. They should have invited to China to fuck off, and play their hand. China is now having a full-out pork shortage. Are they going to threaten not to buy pork? China is the main destination of multiple of our most important exports, the largest investor, and the second largest public debt creditor. Essentially, we are their bitch. The only way to change an abusive relationship is to leave. By the way, the Turkish embassy has done similar things in here as well, going their way to change menial or unimportant things to match their tastes. They closely follow the steps of any Turkish person here on student/work visa.